Alright guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the #1 best Riven player on the Korean server, guys. This guy has over 800 LP in Challenger right now, has played more than 450 Riven games, and he's constantly playing Riven in literally every single game right now. And what surprises me the most is that this Riven player plays with an entirely different rune page and build from what we are normally being used to. Just taking a look at these builds, take a look at this specifically. This guy is going for bone plate, but also takes unflinching, which is something I have literally no one see with before. In another game, he replaces the bone plate with a second wind as well, which is super interesting, guys. We're going to be checking out this Riven player. We're going to be seeing exactly like how this Riven player plays with the champ. He has a very unique playstyle from what I can tell, something that you've never really seen that much before. So with that being said, let's investigate the rank 1 player on Korea, guys. Let's get into it. Now, before we start the video, make sure to like the video, subscribe and turn on the notifications, and leave a comment and say hi. Now let's get into the video. Alright guys, here we are in this game watching the #1 best Riven player in the Korean server. It looks like that this guy is running like runes that we never use, like anyone really. For instance, in this game, he also went for unflinching in the secondary page, which is something that I've never seen anyone play with really. He's also taken a Dorn Shield as a starter item against Akali top, which is super smart because Akali is obviously going to be poking all day long, right? So you can definitely heal up like a lot using a Dorn Shield. Now let's see if this guy actually walks through the river. Yes, he actually does. All right. He also plays with Teleport and Flash, which obviously is the most consistent if you're looking for, you know, having consistent plays. Now, let's see how he plays it out. Is he going to play like really aggressive at level 1? Or is he going to play that like a little bit safe? Usually in this kind of matchup, you can technically win the level 1 against Akali, but she will have to overextend for a little bit. And you want to like avoid Akali's Q damage as well, right? Now, let's see how this guy actually handles that. He appears to be going for a push and proccing the bone plate from Akali. Whenever you play against an opponent that does play with bone plate, you always want to proc that first before you actually get into like fighting. So he takes like a slow push against Akali, immediately going for a small trade in between. He has like this really aggressive kind of playstyle. That's why it works so well. If you want to carry consistently 1v9 every single game, or do the best you can, you definitely have to play like really aggressive, especially into matchups like Akali, where you have like a lot of space to do it. Now, it's good that this guy has the push because he can use that to either crash in the entire wave like directly under the tower, or he could use that entire wave to backboard and then come back with like an extra item, right? I like how he takes like a small tiny trade with the W and then proccing the bone plate again. It appears that the Rumble is currently in bot lane, like the jungler, so he doesn't have to worry about that either. Kind of like forces down the wave directly into the turrets so that she cannot freeze that wave. That's an extremely smart move. Now, he sees that Rumble is currently fighting in bot lane, trying to take the river camp. So what this guy does, instead of going for a regular backport and buying the next item, this guy takes the river camp in top instead. So he can get the vision from it, get the gold from it, and like a slight advantage. And all at the same time, he gets to freeze down the wave as well because it's currently getting like crashed down because of Akali. Goes back in lane, immediately proccing down the bone plate. Very smart. Takes down like an entire trade with that as well. Immediately winning the lane here after he took the jungle camp. You can clearly see like the way how he plays. He plays super aggressive, but at the same time he tries to take the lead in the early game by taking down the jungle camp from earlier and constantly having to push. Oh, and here he goes That's really close. Like, every single time that Akali is going for a CS, or, you know, waiting to farm out anything, Riven is constantly there to pressure, right? Every single time. So Akali doesn't really get the chance to, like, breathe during the laning phase, because Riven is constantly sitting in her face, so she won't be able to do as much. And here he goes back. I'm assuming he's probably going to go for Goredrinker as the first item. I have literally no idea like what his full build is going to be, so this is going to be interesting. It appears that he's actually buying an Iron Spike as the first item. Wow. Teleporting to bot lane, immediately resulting in a kill on Ezreal. And all at the same time. Akali is top lane like freezing it out right now, so... Not sure how worth this is going to be. Like, if the TP did not actually work, it would have been pretty bad for him. Yeah, that resulted in, like, another catch. Great. I'm assuming he's probably going to go for Longsword. Yeah, he will. He's trying to rush as much damage as possible by going for Iron Spike as a first item. This gives you two things. First of all, it gives you more wave clear, because you can drop it down like the entire wave. But secondly, if you're going for like short trades, you can use the Iron Spike and do more damage within like a short trade as well. So it's got like two things to it, right? Now, in terms of like maxing abilities, I wonder if this guy is going to max W after Q or max E after Q. We're about to see that soon. Rumble is currently in bot lane, so Riven doesn't have to place a ward down. He's really trying to play it safe to not get hit by Akali's Q. He knows like what kind of risk it is. He could go for a trade against Akali though, like doing like an EW, but let's see how he does it. Procs the Bone Plate from Akali, but takes a little bit of damage so far. But once again, like he procced the Bone Plate, which means that our next trade is going to be far better. Oh, this is looking bad. He's going to die here. Oh, he actually ran the other way. I think he's going to die here. He does not have anything up. Lee Sin's coming for a gank in top lane, though. He's staying for that. I really like how Akali played it there. Like, she played that pretty well, but was not able to get the kill on Riven, unfortunately. Great gank by Lee Sin. They can now push in the entire wave right now. Riven currently has 3 kills already. That is absolutely massive. Like, Riven's going to 1v9 with this. In terms of, like, farm, it's kind of equal. But in terms of, like, XP, this is where Riven is going to get the lead right now. I'm assuming he's probably going to go for Phage, right? Let's take a look. Yeah, he actually went for Phage. So generally, the idea of Goredrinker, like there's 2 ways how you can buy Goredrinker. You can either go for Warhammer, so you can maximize the damage and get the ability haste, and then rush like Phage and Iron Spike. Or what you can also do is just simply go for Iron Spike immediately to maximize the damage, and then go for Phage after, and this is exactly what he's trying to do. But I like so much about this guy that he's... Every single time he goes back to base, like he backports, he immediately goes for a roam to like bot lane or mid lane. Like, this is interesting, honestly. It's an interesting playstyle. It's not something that I always do myself, actually. Usually what I like to do is getting back to lane as quickly as possible so I can put the lane into a favorable position. But this guy backports and then immediately roams to mid lane after, and then takes a Herald and doesn't do anything with the wave at all. And this is where he goes down. I like the whole concept of what Riven was trying to do here, honestly. But he did miss quite a bit of the wave there, honestly. Alright. He missed like an entire wave for doing that, and Akali also got another plate as well. Now it's just time to go back. It's still good for him. It's still looking very good. It's just that he lost like a little bit of farm to be able to make that work. But he should still be okay. It's just that he kind of lost the lead here. That's why I like to put my lane in a favorable position, because if things go wrong and you miss like a whole wave, you're missing the XP too, and that's going to make you fall behind. But in this case, he should still be alright. He can push down the entire wave. It seems like he's actually going for the W max after Q, and that's exactly what I do as well. Okay. I rarely get to see like other Riven mains who are doing the same thing like I do. Generally, I always go for the W max after Q because it provides like more CC, more damage. You know, in team fights you can use it more often, and it generally works super well with the combos, but most people are maxing E. He plays it really safe. There's a massive fight in bot lane with Rumble there. You should know that. But he's playing it really safe because Akali, once it's being played in perfection, Akali is really hard to deal with around this time. Right? Because one simple tiny trait could result in like an all-in from Akali. She goes for the all-in. Oh, Riven actually got destroyed there. Akali played that super clean, man. This Akali is really clean. I have to admit, though, this is not just a normal Akali player. This guy is really good with the champion. Alright. Let's see how he plays this out, right? So he had like a massive lead. He kind of lost the lead here. So I wonder how this Riven is going to like bring that back. I wonder how he's going to make that flawless comeback to truly 1v9 the game. Because I know how this game is going to end. Like, he's going to 1v9 this one based on the score what I've seen. But I wonder how he's going to pull that off. Went for like a little trade. Akali's ultimate is on cooldown right now, so he could not take the trade. Like, he could just simply take the trade there. It appears that he's going to go for another roam. Like, there's a massive fight currently around the dragon, and he's trying to move over it before Akali can do that. What interests me like so much about this guy is that this guy is like constantly in this roaming kind of strategy, right? Like, this guy is constantly trying to appear in mid lane and bot lane through the game as a top laner. Which does make the lane, like, he does like kind of like fall behind with it because Akali is like a lot of wave clear. What's here gonna happen? Is he gonna take it? No. This Akali is so clean. This Akali is really good. But it appears that she didn't continue to fight there. She just backed out, which means that the ultimate is down right now. Same thing for Riven as well, but Riven should have the winning edge right now. Oh. Oh, man. Just completely all in by this Riven, man. Oh, wow. This Riven knew the limits very well here. Immediately taking the all-in after Akali used the ultimate. The thing is, like, once Akali uses the ultimate and she... it's like on massive cooldown. That's where Akali becomes kind of weak because the ultimate is what makes Akali like really strong. Like, she has to get the ultimate in order to make like really good plays, right? Because then all that she has left is Shroud, which is not going to help her too much. Before this guy goes back, what is he going to do? He backports like behind the camps. Why? Not exactly sure like what that was meant for. I think he would try to do that on purpose so that Akali would not cancel him, like in the bush, I guess. Also been like a reason behind it. It appears that this guy is he bought the Gore Drinker and then immediately buys the Hex Drinker like afterwards. That's something that I haven't built in probably like an entire month, like maybe once. I rarely build Hex Drinker nowadays. So that's quite interesting to see. Let's see how he plays out this whole situation. Because his teleport is currently on cooldown. Akali is currently roaming as well. There's a massive fight in mid lane. doesn't seem that interested at all. He's going to go for the push instead because roaming there is too late anyways. He's going to finish off that turret. Smart play, because if he roamed down to mid lane, he could have had nothing. This is definitely where he's going to get like the lead again. Akali appears to be roaming down to bot lane, but it doesn't matter too much for Riven. This guy can just push it in completely and get an advantage like this. If he gets the Joan Camp 2, that's going to push him to level 12. It's looking really good for Riven right now. The fact that she gets to get this turret right now, especially like the first turret, and getting the jungle camp right now, results in her getting very far ahead. Of course, top lane is also being pushed in as well, so she can use that to roam to mid lane, possibly go for like a flank. But there's a ward here already. He's kind of looking around to see if he can do something, but unfortunately, like, nothing is really possible. He's already put like 3 points into his W, which means he's fully maxing it. He tries to like flank the Lucian right now. The Lucian was farming top. Doesn't go for it though. He does not take the risk. Like, there was 2 people standing in mid. The other 2 people were missing. So there could have been like a slight chance of someone being there to help out that Lucian. So he did not even take that risk. He just played that like pretty smart. If someone was there, he would have probably died. So he wasn't too bothered. Now he gets to push down the entire wave again. Constantly splitting, constantly getting pressure. You know, even if the team makes like a couple mistakes where they die, then the wave in top lane is getting pushed in at least, right? The wave is getting crashed into the turret. So if they don't farm that, they're going to fall behind, right? And if they try to farm that, then there will be pressure, which means that Riven can roam again and possibly get like really good plays off. It definitely seems like this Riven is rushing the item for Hexdrinker. I think he's rushing it as like a second item because he bought Warhammer right now. I wonder if he gets to complete it like early. I don't really know if he's going to go for Black Lever or for the item. The dragon is like spawning very soon. The teleport of Riven is up right now, which means Riven doesn't have to be there. Also, Akali like still being top. She does not have the teleport right now, which means that Riven has a very big advantage. Seems like Riven is not interested in fighting this Akali at all. This is due to Akali being level 13, where Riven is level 12. He's actually going like all in when he's 1 level behind. And he actually won that like really hard as well. Like luckily like Lee Sin was there to like clean that up. But I did not expect this guy to like just turn around. Very interesting Riven playstyle. Honestly guys, I really love this kind of playstyle what he's playing with. He's constantly pressuring the map and constantly roaming and constantly just... He's doing whatever it takes to win in the early game. If he doesn't get kills, he's gonna push and take jungle camps to give himself that lead, right? Once again, takes down a jungle camp, then TP's down to mid lane to force a win there. Winning that as well. This Riven is constantly like sitting in that face of the enemy team, applying pressure. This is the exact kind of 1v9 playstyle that you want, guys. And keep also in consideration that this is being played in the most competitive server of League, in the Korean server. Of course, we have the China server too, but Korean is where, you know, most of them are at. Okay. Does actually get caught right now with the CC of Maokai. He could have actually escaped that one. He could have escaped it. I think these guys are going to get caught. Let's skip forward a little bit to see what Riven is going to buy. It appears that this Riven actually bought this item as a second item. That's something I never do. I literally never build this item as a second item, like actually completing it. I should really try this out. Like, this guy's actually building it like second item. I gotta try this. And the most interesting part about this Riven is that he actually buys Tiamat as the third item after buying this one. What would be the reason behind building Tiamat? Especially in a game like this, I kind of wonder like what that is meant for. Why would he want to build Hydra as a third item in this game? That makes me really question, like, I would just like to speak to this guy directly and just find out why he's doing it. I love building Hydra, not gonna lie. I think it's a great item for 1v9ing. But as a third item is something that I don't really do as much. Like, I always build like as a second item. They're going for Baron right now. If the enemy team walks up, it's going to be an easy 1v9 for Riven. Riven's damage is really high right now. She's extremely far ahead of the enemy team. Goes for the flank behind Maokai and Lucian. Oh wow, that Thresh Q was amazing. Oh, look at that damage from Riven. Oh man. Oh man, that damage is so high. That damage. I actually expected like lower damage with this item, but the damage of Riven is actually extremely high right now. It's not just because of the items, but it's also mainly because Riven has like a lead with level already, so now they get Baron. If they try to like walk up for this one, it's going to be an easy easy kills for Riven. Oh, nice. They get a catch on that Ezra too. You see, like when you play Riven and you are at the Baron, usually what you want to do is like stopping your opponents from potentially like walking up to the Baron by third queuing over the wall and then getting into a fight with them. Usually if it's like some kind of like easy target like an ADC, for example, or a mid laner, it's usually like a free kill for you, right? And if it's something like a tank, it doesn't really matter anyways. You're always ahead of everybody, especially like when you have like so many kills already. He's going for a teleport, trying to flank down that Maokai, but did not happen. Pretty much all that's left to do right now is for these guys to have like 4 people pushing mid lane and have like 1 guy being top lane and then pressure it with the Baron. Seems like he's going for a flank on the Kali right now, trying to get that catch. Yep. Yeah, this Akali is pretty much dead. The bone plate doesn't help that much either anymore. Like, Riven has way too much damage right now. This guy really piques my interest. Like, I keep thinking, why exactly would you want to get a Hydra as a third item? Like, what makes you want to buy that as a third item? I know that this guy is looking for damage, especially with that team company enemy team. All they have is like a Maokai for CC. They're missing a lot of CC. But then again, like, why exactly would you want to get a Hydra as a third item? That's something I just wonder. Because it does provide a lot of damage. It does provide a lot of sustain. But then again, like, typically around this time, I'd be very interested in, like, different items. He's going for the kill on Ezreal, but he walks away. But yeah, I'd say like this game, this Riven definitely played it pretty clean. You know, there's been a couple moments where Riven got outplayed by Akali, but that's just kind of like how the matchup goes when Akali plays it perfectly. Like the Akali matchup, generally speaking, if the Akali is like a really true God player, then it's really hard to win that matchup. But if the Akali is like kind of decent, it turns completely into like a favorable matchup for Riven. So it kind of depends on like how Akali like plays it out as a player. It completely relies on that, really. Like, I think if we take out that part of Akali, of the guy currently playing it right now, I think if we took that out right now, this Riven would have probably played this game like super clean 1v9. Pretty sure of it, because the rest of the game is like clean, like really clean gameplay. Oh, that's gonna be a free kill for Riven. This kill is also like really fat right now. It's because she got level 16. Yeah, this game is 100% win for Riven. There's absolutely no way how these guys can throw it at this point. Like, Riven is too huge right now. And there goes the surrender. Guys, this Riven player, this guy, I understand why this guy is currently the #1 in Korean server. I totally understand. This guy has a very unique kind of Riven strategy, like a kind of like a Riven play style. Slightly like it's definitely like slightly different from mine. 100%. Like, he does things differently than I do. So maybe we should like spectate this guy like a little bit more often to like see like what else he does. Interesting, honestly. Let me know if you guys want to see more like this. Thank you for watching today's YouTube vid, and I will catch you guys up in the next one. Peace.